that is a fact that there is a Hindu awakening in some form or other, and that the Congress's irrelevance is now picking up. The fact remains that this question again needs to be answered in terms of, is there still a threat of further balkanization of Bharat?
Certainly.
The optics, I think today is Savarkarji's Punya Tithi, right? Probably this is the best time for us to take lessons from him in terms of how do we prevent further balkanization given his wisdom. While this both is happening, I mean, while Hindu awakening is happening, there is also identity crisis or identity politics happening on the other side as well. What's your message in terms of picking up from Savarkar?
Acquired a fair knowledge of how radical Islamic movements have been operating and how they are operating today. Correct? Certainly with the coming of power of this government in Delhi, they feel suddenly they are finding roadblocks. But they have not changed their direction. What is their vision? Their vision is to turn this country into a Muslim majority country. Through population increase, through demographic changes. That is their main objective. But then another thing also is very important if you want to prevent further balkanization. You see, we'll have to keep space for moderate Muslims. You know, this whole thing of condemning the entire community is totally out of place. You have to, even if their percentage is less, you have to keep space for them. In Kashmir, for example, every week a Muslim fellow is dying, terrorist bullets. Get my point? So you have to keep some space. And let me tell you one thing. In the last 7 years since this government came, the operations against terrorists have been stepped up. 90% of the information has come from local Muslims.
And the operation is done by the Kashmir police.
Kashmir police, yes.
Army supported them from behind.
You have to keep space for them.
Yeah, but
today I learnt in this program, there are 2 Muslim girls who have a startup, you know. I was surprised. As it is, Muslim community does not have as many role models. Level of education is less, correct? Those who are doing good work, they have to be projected. You have to keep space for modern Muslims, which would mean if there are good people doing very well in their own communities, you project them. They become role models for the community.
yeah, that's a good point. In fact, post Article 370, Kashmir has seen a spurt of pro-India voices who are vocal about it now. And this year, I think during the Republic Day function program, they went and hoisted a flag on the Gantaghar of Lal Chowk. That was a major optics. I agree with you. But the problem is people who have occupied the so-called liberal space in the Muslim world are people like, let's say, Shabana Azmi and her husband are anything but liberal. When it comes to issues, when it comes to Islam and Muslim and Hindu issues, they invariably take the Islamic line, aside, and then they call themselves liberal. This is the problem. Farhan Akhtar comes out and then demonstrates against CAA. When the reporters asked him, he had no clue of what CAA was all about. So this is the problem. The so-called liberal Muslims, even if somebody wants to really, support them or bring them on board, like you said, Jinnah initially, though he was liberal, he was, pro-Muslim appeasement. So is the case with these guys. That is the problem. That is a question that is being raised by the Hindus. That dekhe to kisko dekhe, support kare to kisko kare.
You see Muslim leadership and Muslim people separately. Then and then you will get a reply to this. They are leaders who are, pan-Islamists but masquerading as liberals. You get my point? So you have to see Muslim population and Muslim leaders differently. Then and then you will be able to tackle this problem. Otherwise not.